Test, test, test. All right. What's up, guys? It's Boy here with Boy Collects Retro. And I know I've delayed the video for so long, but I'm kind of going to go into depth as to why I did that. I've really been thinking about the direction I want to take this channel and what I want it to be, what I don't want it to turn into. And it's caused me to get a little bit of anxiety or choice anxiety to where there's so many things I can do that I choose to do nothing because I can't pick one. But I spent hours scripting and how should I talk and should I always look at the camera and not make any mistakes, not say anything like or anything like that. And I really got overwhelmed on trying to make everything perfect. And I realized that that's not what I want to do anymore. I just want to show you guys who I am, what I do, and why I do it. So, without further ado, I am Boy. My name is Andrew Boy. I am Boy Collects Retro, and the whole reason for this channel is that I want to show you guys everything that I collect and take you guys on my journey of collecting. And so eventually, when you guys can see my whole collection room, you guys can say, hey, I was there for all of that. I really challenged myself, or was challenged by what I want to show people, because I mean, I read a lot of comic books. Like this right here, this big old stack is just from this week. This is actually half the stack of what I picked up this week. And so I was thinking, like, should I do comic readings? And I was like, no, I have too many comics. I would never be able to read all of them. And then I was like, oh, well, let me show my action figures. And I was like, well, I can go on hours talking about my Transformers and my Jetfire and the events that I went through to get a hold of Jetfire and Megatron and my favorite Transformer, Cliff Jumper. I could talk about Ninja Turtles for days, and I could talk about Power Rangers and Star Wars and anime and figures and manga and comic books and retro gaming and CRTVs and the early 2000s, the late 90s. And I really just got lost in this myths. But think I know the direction that I want to go. I figured if I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to talk about the things that I'm most passionate first, and then start getting to my other collections. But first, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys when the collecting started. Now, the collecting started when I was, I would say around 7, 8 years old, my original collection. I was a kid who grew up in the early 2000s, and so I grew up with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I grew up with the first 3 episodes of Star Wars. I grew up with Dragon Ball GT. I grew up with Pokemon and Game Boys and Monster Energy and Red Bull and Vans Warped Tour and X Games and all of that stuff, right? So that's when my collection began. I'm going to go ahead and show some pictures of what it was like during my childhood and the things that I collected. I collected things like Star Wars memorabilia, like lightsabers and action figures. I collected the Dragon Ball GT card game. I had no idea how to play it, but I still enjoyed collecting them because I had the art from the TV show. I loved Ninja Turtles. Love, love, love. You can ask my mom the amount of Ninja Turtles that I've had, especially when they used to come with the container of ooze. And I used to get that ooze on everything, right? Like the carpet, the couches. My mom hated buying me those Ninja Turtles, but she still did. So shout out to you, Mom. I collected Power Rangers. I did watch MMPR, but I grew up with SPD and with Time Force. I collected a whole lot of those. I remember Wes was like my idol. What else did I collect? I collected Batman stuff. I collected Spider-Man stuff. And so I'll go ahead and show photos and if I do have videos of that stuff. And the person that I collected most of that stuff with was my cousin Eric. My cousin Eric was the only boy cousin that I had that was around the same age as me. We're about 6 months apart. And I had younger brothers, but my brother right below me was 5 years younger, and the one right below that was 6 years younger. So they were a little bit behind on things, you know. I was bringing them to the light of collecting and nerding out, but they were still young. So this cousin, me and my cousin Eric, we did everything together. I'm going to show photos. We did lightsaber battles. We raced RC cars together. We rode bikes together. We did everything you could think of. Like, that was legit my brother. It's probably like the cousin that I feel the closest to. And we were dorks, dude. We were nerds. We loved video games. We loved Star Wars. We loved everything that was you could dweeb out about. We loved. And one of our favorite things to do was play video games. And so this video is going to go towards that. Kind of like a little video essay of the Game Boy. So we grew up in the early 2000s, and during that time, it was the time when the Game Boy Color was in every play school yard and recess time and lunchtime, and me and my cousin were pretty envious of that. We loved the fact that people could take their games away from home and take them with them everywhere. At that time, I believe I had a Nintendo 64 and he had a PlayStation 1. And we loved those consoles, especially like I had unknowingly one of the coolest Nintendo 64s. I had the jungle green Donkey Kong Nintendo 64 with the matching controller and all that good stuff. And I played games like Snowboard Kids 2. I played, of course, the Mario 64, Mario Party 3, Namco Museum, a whole bunch of games. I think I played like Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, Ready to Rumble, a lot of good games. And I love those games, but to see these kids be able to pull a Game Boy out of their pocket and play those games at school, or like while we're riding bikes, like on like those little green electric boxes when we're there just posted waiting for the other friends to pull up, I thought that was so cool. And eventually our parents gave in, and around the same time, if not the same time, me and my cousin both got a Game Boy Advance. Now, this thing changed our whole entire life. There's a special spot in my heart for the Game Boy Advance, and I will die on the hill that it is the greatest Nintendo handheld that was ever invented. Just because of the games alone. Like, it wasn't the best screen. Of course, we still didn't have a lit up screen until the SP came out. There was things like the Sega Game Gear and stuff that had the light up screen, but to us, like, the games, dude, like, man, I had games like Eye of the Beholder, which was a Dungeons and Dragons game. I had Godzilla. I had Mario Advance, I think 3, which was, I think, Super Mario 4, if I'm mistaken. There we go. Here we go. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario 3. All right, I had this one. I had Godzilla. Sorry, I keep turning around, but I had Godzilla. And I had Namco Museum. I had, what is this? Sonic 3 Advance. So I had a good couple of games. And my cousin had cooler games too, because we were dweebs. We were dorks. You know, he had things like, I think it was Flight of the Millennium Falcon. He had Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He had a couple Bionicle games, because Bionicles were popping back in the day. And dude, like, this thing took over our childhood. Like, there was probably a drop in grades in school because I had this thing. Just to hear that iconic startup sound of the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance, like, that thing sent me over the moon. Every time I like flipped that rocker switch over and just, or that slide switch over, and it turned on and I heard that little beautiful. Still to this day, it like sends like a neurotic charge down my spine from my brain. But yeah, this is probably one of the most passionate collections that I have, if not the most passionate collection. I have my Nintendo 64 over there. I had to rebuy it again. We lost it in garage sales or yard sales back in the day. But the Game Boy Advance was something that I knew I had to get again, because this thing took over our whole world. This was during the time where people were getting flip phones and people were getting iPods and stuff like that. And it really became like, how many things do you have in your pocket? And this Game Boy Advance, like, it was top tier, like top tier. The games compared to what we were playing, like, amazing. So I went through a phase not too long ago of getting in contact with people who make Game Boys, and I saw that Game Boys now are backlit and you can get USB-C charging and you can get RGB lights on this thing, and that's exactly what I did. I went all out. I spent like almost $400-500 on a Game Boy just to get it exactly how I want it, and I've been playing those games ever since. And now as an adult with access to the internet and YouTube and other people's information and things like Reddit, and I found other games that I'd never played as a kid, and now I'm enjoying them as an adult. Games like Sword of Mana, Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow, WarioWare, Inc. What else? Oh, there's one. Tekken, Street Fighter. What else? Donkey Kong versus, or Mario versus Donkey Kong. Let me just grab all of these over here. And Mario Tennis, Power Tour, and then I started getting into Game Boy games in general, like the OG Game Boy, like DMG style Game Boy. And that was something that I didn't know I would love until I got older. When I was younger, I was like, man, these games got, not so good graphics. They look really simple. You can beat them in like 20 minutes. Like, I want a game that, I can get hours into. But as I got older, I realized that the simplicity is what makes the game so beautiful, is that it was what the Game Boy was meant to be. Something that you could just pick up, play, put down, and then get back to whenever you want. And now, as I'm a 30-year-old father of, 2 kids, and now I have less time to sit there and have my nose in my Game Boy without feeling like I'm neglecting some sort of responsibility. I'm enjoying these a whole lot more than the Game Boy Advance games. Don't get me wrong, the Game Boy Advance is still my all-time favorite. Don't get it twisted. But I'm starting to love things like the Super Mario Land games, the Kirby Dream Land games, the Pokemon games, which I've already played Pokemon Yellow in the past, but now I'm getting more into it. Donkey Kong, I believe this is 94. And yeah, so I've been collecting, playing things like Tetris, things like Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and really getting into the world of Game Boy. And that's why I wanted it to be my first video, is because this is something that I am legitly passionate about. For Aria of Sorrow, this is Dawn of Sorrow. Whoops. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, I actually bought a boxed copy just because, like, I love this game. I 100%ed this game. I went and found all of the souls, all of the hidden rooms, 100% of the map. The Chaos Ring thing got the cool ending where he says, I feel cool now. Now I'm going back and playing it under Julius mode. So I dropped like 16 hours in a week, was just grinding. I'm so glad that as an adult, I found this game, and it makes me wish I would have found it as a kid, because nerdy me thought I was like a cool wizard back in the day. If Eric, you know what I'm talking about, my cousin, we were wizards when we were children. You couldn't tell us different. And yeah, so my first video was, of course, on the Game Boy Advance. Now, if you've never played any Game Boy Advance games, don't go out just yet and buy a Game Boy. They're really expensive right now. The games are on a resurgence right now, and they're getting pretty expensive. And I believe I have a reason why I believe why that is. It's the same reason why I started getting back into collecting. It's because, dude, like, everything is expensive to stream now. If I want to watch movies or TV shows, I have to check one of my millions of subscriptions that I forget about but still pay, and then use one of those. And then the minute I don't pay for it, all of them are gone. Things like streaming video games on my PC, like through Xbox Game Pass or through Steam or whatever. I mean, Steam, you can kind of own games, right? They're always having sales a little bit better, which is why I moved from console to PC. But it just sucks that, like, we're in this world where, like, we don't own anything anymore. And that kind of sparked the fire of me collecting again. Things like DVDs, CDs, cassettes, games, because I'm feeling that emptiness of, like, man, I'm paying like upwards of like anywhere between like $100 and $200 a month for all of these things that I don't have. It's not tangible. There's no actual content. There's no, filling up a shelf. There's no having a whole room of it. And I really started to think, like, man, like, where did we kind of stray away from that, And I started collecting all of my stuff all over again. I recently bought a CRTV, and I don't know why I'm pointing, like, I can pan it over and show it to you guys, but it's just what I'm looking at right now. And I started collecting action figures again recently, like Transformers, wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, and Gundams that are up there, and plushies, statues, figures, and I'm all over the place. I'm stretched completely thin. I'm in a race to build this room, but I know I need to slow it down and enjoy it and love it and keep the passion for it, because I feel like that's where a lot of collectors lose themselves, is they get so much into collecting that they no longer enjoy the stuff that they have. They just start shelving it and shelving it and shelving it and backlogging it and backlogging it, and they don't ever have time to do it anymore because they've just made a lifestyle of doing that. And that was one of the things that I was thinking about when I was starting this channel, is I don't want to be that. I still want to be that kid that plays the video games, pops the DVDs in, watches the TV show, cleans the action figures, dusts them, still plays with them, still, you know, puts them in cool poses, and still builds the model kit. What I want to be. It's Boy Collects Retro, you know? And that was where I reached the epiphany of where I want this channel to go. But I understand that I'm making these videos for you guys. If there's something you guys want to see more of, let me know. As long as it's like not me smashing a pie in my face or me smashing my monitor with a hammer, then cool. If you guys want to see me read a couple comic book series, I have a whole lot of comics. I'm going to show some pictures right now of what my wall looks like. Plus this right here is a whole entire thing that holds comics. I have short boxes underneath my bed that hold comics. I do weekly pickups every day. So if there's something you guys want to see, if you guys want to see me bring out all of my Transformers and show them all to you guys, and from the what is it, the 84 studio series to the newer series to, you know, old school Transformers G1, G2. If you guys want to see me play retro video games, of course I'd probably have to emulate it on some type of device so that way I can put it on the screen for you guys. But if you guys want to see me play retro video games, or if you guys want to see me stream newer video games, if you guys want to see me talk about current novels, I love novels like murder mystery and fantasy. I believe right now I'm reading Poison King. It's a sequel to Impossible Creatures. But whatever you guys want, that's pretty much what I'm here for. I'm here to collect and show you guys on my journey. Now, a lot of things are put away right now because I'm currently in the process of trying to move. Not for any crazy reason. It's just my lease is up and I need more room. I'm having another child, and so I need more room to put all my stuff. And more importantly, I need a room that I can lock to protect all of this stuff. I have some figures from the 70s. I have some comic books from the 50s and 60s. So like, it's not something I can just easily, boom, Amazon it back at my house. So I have to protect these things. I sort of treat myself like a historian of all of this stuff, and it's my job and my duty to protect all of this stuff and keep it in good condition. I freak out whenever people grab my stuff, not in a bad way. I'm not like smacking their hand and telling them to put it down, but it's just like while they're handling something that I know is like expensive, I'm like, you know, but it's all for the love of the game, dude. Like, that's all it is, really. If you guys want to see me, you know, show Power Ranger stuff, go through my cassette collection, or even talk about, give reviews of my favorite TV shows like Saved by the Bell, Beavis and Butthead, Inspector Gadget, TMNT, Punisher, what else? Power Rangers, whatever you guys want to see in this channel is what I'm here for. I have a lot of, well, not a lot, a decent amount, because of course, as I push information in, more information gets pushed out, but I have a decent, well-rounded knowledge of a little bit of everything. But that's about it for now, guys. Sorry for the delay in video. It's just, I really had to sit here and like find myself and lose myself and find myself again. And if I look away from the camera a whole lot, sorry, I do it even while I'm working and coaching. If I say a lot of uhs, likes, and ums, it's just my brain processing all of this bombardment of what I want to say to you guys. But this is the real me. It's unedited, one take. If there's mistakes, there's mistakes. I don't want to sit here and try and be perfect for you guys. I just want to show you guys who I am. This is who I am. I talk really fast. I sound very monotone. But I have a lot of cool stuff that I want to share with you guys, and stuff that, you know, I'm pretty sure you would love to talk about too. So this is it. This is Boy Collects Retro. Hope you guys want to be friends. If you guys like the video, like, subscribe, put some notifications on there. And yeah, about it. So get out of here, losers. Get out of my room, nerd.